Okay. Greetings and salamanders, if you're just joining me. I am your amicable amphibian, Newt. Today I am working on a Centerline pylon for this 72nd scale F105 I've been working on, and I snapped one of the goddamn ECM antennas off again. So now I got to find that or make another one and glue that back on. So I need to stop doing that. But anyways, so this trumpeter kit does not come with a Centerline pylon. And the F105 normally operated with a Centerline bomb rack as opposed to a Centerline fuel tank. And even with the fuel tank, the kit has a bad pylon. So I still have some more cleanup to do on the bottom. I see here, it's just testing some paint on this. So anyways, if I want to mount one of these multiple ejector racks, like so, actually take that off, that's extra drawing. So if I want to mount this, like, it has locating pins, but they're for different kits, so those will get chopped off. So this goes here, but it would be raised up, and I had a picture of this. That. So if you look at my screen there, you will see that this is a Centerline pylon, angling the bombs downwards so that when they eject, it's more aerodynamic. Some other nerd can explain that one. So honestly, I have no fucking idea. Like, it makes sense to me. Angle bombs down for bombs to go down. And as you'll see here, this is like an air show. That's sometime in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s. As all of these Daisy Dukes will attest to. But anyways, this does not come in the kit. And so if I want to put this big old pile of 750-pound bombs that I've been working on here, just sprinkle some of those in there. Yeah, 105 is 750-pound Marks 117 fragmentation bombs. So it's going to get 6 on this pylon on the center rack. But to do that, I need the pylon. So I've sketched out, I found a diagram in a book that I surprisingly do not own about the 105 that I've actually placed on my wish list for later. But so I have the measurements, and I also have this super awesome, I don't know if they still make these things, and if they don't, they're wrong, because this is the Excel scale ruler, and they make different ones, but they're usually for one thing or the other. And this one is all the basic modeling scales without getting into the train stuff, which is nice because 90% of the ones I see train stuff. So anyways, I got my measurements based on the diagrams and photos I have. While my cat walks all over a piece of scrap parchment paper, So real life, it's about 8.5 feet long, foot tall, 4 inches at the other end. So I got that mocked out. And now I'm just gonna scribe a path for each section of the whatchamacallit, this thing, stuff. Anyways, gonna scribe this out, make sure I got a nice clean line. And then make sure I got a nice track to cut into, and then I'm gonna use a little saw. Clean cut. When I was younger, I used to use the Dremel for this stuff. First, I used like a wood saw, and then I used a Dremel, and then I switched to razor saws, then I switched back to the Dremel, and then I tried some different razor saws, and now I have 15 saws for 15 different things. So that's vaguely scribed out. So that's too meaty. And like, I know there's like a science to saws and shit, but I'm dumb, so I like to just kind of work it in there. Keep from. And if you groove it a little bit before you cut it, it makes sure it enables you to do a smooth cut without having to use a miter. And usually I just kind of hang it over the edge of the workbench and just kind of and like I probably should have done the scribing I needed to for the detail work on this thing while it was still one piece, but I'm impatient. Lots of sawing. Oh, hey, Kay. Hi, buddy. And so this might end up being a little rough. And there's like resin ones, and I'm sure this is one of those parts that I might have in another box from a different kit, but also, once again, lazy. But in the worst possible way. That and I hate robbing from kits that I actually plan to build. Sometimes I admit I buy kits that I'm probably not going to build. I want one piece. For example, there's a tank kit that I'm looking to buy just for the figures. They're not even good figures. They're just in a very specific pose for a different version of that vehicle that I plan to build a better one. Okay. Now that I've dropped this piece down my crotch, fish that out. Okay, so we got some rough edge on the sides. So we're just going to use this little flat blade and just wheel. Easy peasy. Like I said, that's not quite as smooth as I would like it, but yeah, it happens. Now I need a shandy stick. Let's go to coarse. And I'm actually going to throw, where the hell did I put those? I got clever and I set my forceps and there. I want the ones that don't have the banded shears in them. So, the ends are getting rounded. That way I can get it nice. So yeah, I got a little bit of a hump on there still. Just gonna keep Sanding that out just a little bit. And it's got a little bit of a hitch in it. That's it. So let's go ahead and get this. See if it's got any rough edges. Okay, so the top profile, I gotta bring this down considerably on each side. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark that out on top. Is it still full? Anyway, let's go get it. So we're gonna mark just a smooth. And unfortunately, this diagram does not specify where these tables. So let's just get a little. First taper. And then let's get that rear side. Shot one. Not all the way through, just left it. Kith. It's a little more of a kiss than I wanted, but it does get me to the angle I'm going for. So we're just going to do fair build. What else is back here? Just I'm sorry. Get down just a little bit. And I'll send that out. Okay, so let's finish getting this shot. Okay, so got the rough shape there. Yes, if watching sanding, it's very exciting. Let's just side. Still not quite even. This would be a lot easier if I just like printed out the diagram I have and scaled it, but my printer doesn't like that. It doesn't like to print to a specific size because it's also like 14 years old, 12 years old, something like that. It's very old for a $100 printer. Okay, so we have our basic shape here. And now I'm going to go in and pick a few spots to throw a little bit of scribble line here and there, just a little bit to spruce it up. Let's see. Angle. So, okay, this one I can't actually work out because this is where the kids are supposed to go. A little too much on that spot. Really not enough right there. Okay, so that's still needs some sanding. Now that makes it time for machine tools. Sharp ones. Sharpen. Okay, that was enough with that bad boy. Let's charge that so we can do it. So let's get and while I'm here, I'm just going to round out these corners. Okay, so we've rounded that down a little bit. Give it a more aerodynamic edge. Now I've got to mark distance for the bombs. Okay, so 30.15 inches. So we're just going to round down to 30 on that, which would be, let's see, 2 there. 2 inches. And then 52 inches. There. Yeah, that looks right. So, if I wasn't loading the mir on there, there would be pegs at those points. And as you can see, they still work. But this, on the other hand, so and that's the basic shape, honestly. I don't know if there's much more to it, a little more detail, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, honestly, it's that and a little line on the top. So it's a little line. It's going to go. Scrape. Okay, for this part, I'm going to cheat and just use this saw and give it a whirl. Maybe not. You know what? It'll buff. Doesn't it? So yeah, that's you know, if I want to get real crazy with it, I could add a little seam, you know, a few more seams and rivets, but to be honest, none of it is going to be visible. And see that profile there. Okay, so yeah, I got a little more reshaping to do. It's right even. It's really good. I can look at that. So yeah, there we have it. Quick polish on each side. Make sure it fits against the hole. Okay. Oh yeah, babe. So yeah, that'll fit right over the Bombay there. Nice. Yeah, I guess I should mark the distance where those Bombay flags are. Yeah, this is half the fun, is going through tons of photos. Okay, so yeah, we're small. doodahs theirs. Kiss. Actually, looking at that, I need to add a piece of strip plastic at the top. Anyways. Okay. Just looking at my photos, this doohickey trying to line up where it's actually lines up on the ball bag. Okay, there we go. See? Should run it right there. Okay. Yeah, so it should line up right about there. And for insanity's sake, I'm just going to continue this. I'm just going to drill straight through it. Oh, drilled into my finger. Do that to stress it. It's really easy with these. Look at it though. Like I have pin vices, I have Dremels, I have mini drills. I just like doing this by hand because it gives you more control. Downside being I'm really clumsy and I drop a lot of these bits and they explode if you look at them wrong, let alone doing bad things. So that's awesome or something. Just gonna beef that out a little bit. Oh, damn, that was shit. Okay, so now I need some. Need to PhD. That's the strip I needed. Now, admittedly, this stuff isn't like super sturdy. This is mostly just for durability's sake. Making sure it's in place. And beefier plastic. Bin of random colors. Beefier. Beefier. Look beefier. Beefier still. Closer. I could use metal, but this doesn't require much weight. Too beefy. Okay, so that's the one. These guys. Look at this. Okay. So there's the go back in your home. And just vaguely straight. So strip doodah around the top. So it's got something like that on top. Just bring myself. Grab onto. Okay, so up on that side. And the same on the other side. First, same as the first one, a lot worse. Trim on the edge there. Trim. All that. Extra. That. Bottom. Okay. Give that a minute set. Meantime, those ones need to be. So that fits. Photo. Coupling should be right there. So in the meantime, I'm just going to script that off. It's unedited. Yeah, I'll just use this as located pins. Okay. It's kind of supposed to be. Okay. Where's the missing antenna? No, it is going to be. Okay. All right. What is this pitch there? Shift. Okay. So yeah, other than some little trim up there, which we'll get to in a minute, just a little bit. Okay. Let's see if any of these 20s are just what I need them to do this time. Jeez, playing this bitch down. You're holding it. You go back in. Speaking of. Let's all right, there you have it. A center pylon for the multiple ejection rack on the Trumpeter F105. Thud. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good